at 7 o'clock. So we will begin our meeting. If you'd all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for being here, and to those of you who have tuned in remotely, we appreciate it. Welcome to the first school board meeting of the new school year. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Bill Bass to the podium. He has several recognitions, and we're going to file up there so we can shake a hand or two.
Perfect. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'd like to invite my fellow ISTE distinguished people up with me here now. My name is Bill Bass. My title in Parkway is I'm an Innovation Coordinator for Instructional Technology, Information, Library, Media, and Federal Programs. It's funny. So this summer, Parkway received the ISTE Distinguished Districts Award from the International Society for Technology and Education, or ISTE. ISTE Distinguished Districts are chosen from U.S. schools that are moving the needle in big ways throughout a school system. These districts seek out and embrace change to improve teaching and learning while reaching all students and serving as an example for other schools to follow. Specifically, these districts are recognized for demonstrating effectiveness and innovation in the use of technology throughout their district, ensuring equitable, accessible, and appropriate technology use for all students, and are focused on improving student learner outcomes and continuously enhancing the learner experience. They are also noted for bringing along all stakeholders, including staff, students, families, and community in the process. Award-winning districts make it a practice to integrate the ISTE standards in their professional learning offerings, apply innovative and design thinking principles in their strategic plans, and actively incorporate the ISTE standards for students across grade levels and curriculum. This award recognizes not a single initiative or project, but rather an overall approach to excellence in utilizing technology to empower students and teachers to rethink learning and set the stage for systemic change in our educational systems. Tonight, I would like to recognize those on the Parkway team who made this award possible: Dr. Kevin Beckner, Jason Rooks, Amy Johnson, Kyra Brennan, and myself. As a side note, this year's award was only given to 3 school districts across the country: Los Angeles Unified School District and Atlanta Public Schools, and of course, Parkway. It really is. The second award that I would like to recognize tonight is the Exemplary Library Program. I would like to ask Katie and Dawn to come up. Tonight, I am here to recognize the South High Library Program with the Exemplary Library Program Award from the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. This award was created in 2018 and evaluates the library program against a possible 21 indicators that showcase the value the library program brings to the school. These indicators include topics such as digital age instruction, dedicated time and staffing to work collaboratively with teachers and curate both digital and physical materials to serve the student population. Through this program, librarians are positioned as leaders in their schools and communities and are supportive of the work of the entire school. Parkway South librarians Katie Pendleton and Dawn Murray and the program at South High were one of a handful of library programs around the state to get this prestigious award. As part of their portfolio submission, they were able to analyze, highlight, and celebrate the influence that the library program has on technology integration, literacy, and classroom instruction. They are seen as leaders in the state and are truly deserving of this recognition. Please join me in congratulating them and their ongoing work to represent Parkway at the state level.
Mr. Todd, can I just make a comment?
Sure.
Bill led the presentation, but he's really, I've learned over the last couple of years, is really regarded nationally. In fact, ISTE is a major national organization, and Bill, you were the president, was it a year ago, 2 years ago? 2 years ago. I mean, he was a national. So Bill has got a national presence, and I just think that he's pretty modest about that, but I think we're so fortunate to have him in a district leading our work, and again, he certainly has been an influence on so many others, so thanks so much, Bill.
Okay, next up, we have several additions, corrections, and/or modifications to the agenda. Those include 7.01, addition to agenda item 11.28, approval of time and attendance solution, and 7.02, addendum to agenda item 11.06, approval of personnel items. Next up is our public comment section. It's during this time that we provide an opportunity for citizen comments in an effort to maintain an open and respectful dialogue with our community. The public comment session is not the appropriate forum for addressing individually identifiable student and/or personnel matters. Therefore, due to privacy laws protecting students and employees, comments about these matters should not include personally identifiable information about particular students or employees. Members of the public, staff, and students are encouraged to utilize established policies and procedures for offering suggestions or addressing concerns and complaints prior to bringing the issue before the board. Please be mindful that the meetings of the board, including your statements at the podium, are broadcast and that you are responsible for any public comments you make. In lieu of a public comment, you may choose to submit your comments to the board in writing. Also, due to time constraints and the need to complete the primary responsibilities of our meeting agenda, we cannot respond during the meeting, so you will receive a response from us in writing. We're always available to have an open dialogue outside of our meetings and are available by email or phone using the contact information on the Parkway website. Tonight, I believe we just have one, and that is Nicole Meeker. So when you come to the podium, please introduce yourself, tell us what your affiliation to the district is, and then you'll have 3 minutes to complete your remarks.
All right, good evening. Oh, sorry, a little short here. Good evening, my name's Nicole Meeker. I am the mom of a Parkway kindergartner, and I'm addressing you this evening to advocate for GPS tracking of our school buses. So, like most parents of kindergartners, my husband and I were beyond excited for our son's first day of school this year. As is tradition, we waited to greet him at the bus stop and hear about his big first day. But unfortunately, that moment didn't arrive because neither did his bus. For more time than should have been possible, no one in this district could locate our child or the bus that he was on. By the time our child was returned to us, his bus had failed to arrive for more than an hour. It was a 95-degree day. He was overheated, his clothing was soaked in sweat. And after a review of the bus's onboard video, we were informed that the driver made repeated failures in protocol and judgment that should have been instant career enders despite there being a bus driver shortage. I will not go further into detail about the incident on this platform, but I will say that the Transportation Department has accepted responsibility for a series of failures that could have had devastating results. In the 5 days it took to get answers about what happened, we learned that Parkway dispatchers struggled to respond because our buses are not GPS tracked. I was told that doing so is, quote, too expensive. Until buses return to a school or a depot, no one but the driver can conclusively say where they are. Parkway has absolutely no ability to locate a bus should it go missing or in the event a driver becomes injured or incapacitated. It could have helped in our situation when the driver chose to ignore dispatchers. GPS tracking for buses is becoming common regularly and nationally, in part because it helps in emergency situations. At Parkway, the current system only works if everything goes right, and it fails dramatically when things go wrong. I'm sharing our family's experience so that you may consider improvements that safeguard our students. I'm asking the district to implement a GPS bus tracking system that's accessible to Parkway employees and parents. Several surrounding school districts already do this, including Kirkwood, Pattonville, Ladue, Lindbergh, Northwest, Orchard Farm, St. Louis Public Schools. This is not an exhaustive list. I understand that there are costs associated with this kind of technology, but a price tag should not be the sole determining factor. Our family was made aware that recent software upgrades within the transportation department can accommodate GPS tracking should the district choose to make it a priority. At this time, it does not appear that it's at the top of that list. So we should all be concerned that in an era where we can geolocate our personal vehicles or track down a missing cell phone, our district has no ability to find a missing bus or a rogue bus. It should go without saying that our children are more valuable than Amazon packages, which have been tracked in real time since 2018. So tonight, I'm asking you, the leadership that oversees 17,000 students, to make this an actionable item. Throughout all of this, I have been told that our children are the most precious cargo, so I'm left wondering why our district is only hoping that they will arrive safely. Thank you.
Okay, next up is the approval of our agenda for this evening. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of Education as scheduled for September 6th, 2023?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. The next regular board meeting will take place on Wednesday, September 27th, 2023, beginning at 7 p.m. right here at the Parkway Welcome Center. Parkway's annual tax rate hearing will take place that same evening at 6:30 p.m. Right here in the same location. Next up, we have board and superintendent reports. Start with Matt.
I'll just share one quick thing. On the first day of school, I went out to a couple schools, and in the morning, I was at one of the middle schools, out in the drop-off line for cars coming in for the parents, dropping off the kids. I was with the principal there. And kids are getting out of the car, they're in a good mood, they're walking towards the door. But the smile on the parent's face, once the kid got out and they closed that door and they're driving away, they're waving at the principal. It was so funny. So I think it's interesting to see that the parents are very glad the school started. I think really besides the weather and a few issues beyond our real control, we've had a pretty good first 2 weeks of the school too. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add other than what Matt already did, but here we are in the September board meeting, and all that's on my mind is the beginning of the school year. And like so many of the board members, the first week I visited a handful of the schools and was excited to see the teachers, administrators, and staff and students all. It was like clockwork. Everything seemed to be going great, and now that we're through that incredible heat that we endured the first week or so and into some of this nicer fall weather, it's just that much better. So excited for the start of academics and athletics.
So I'm pretty much in the same like as the other two. There's a lot going on already. We've only been in school, 2.5 weeks? We've already had, at least where my kids go to school, open houses at the high school and middle school. And I know there's a curriculum night coming up for many of the elementary schools. I'm out of that age now. So I just wanted to remind everyone, to get involved in your children's schools, go to those open houses, those curriculum nights, meet with the teachers, counselors, principals. I know I really enjoyed the open houses at both of my kids' schools, being able to meet their teachers and just see the excitement of the parents and the kids and the teachers, and it's a good feeling to be back in school.
So, like my colleagues here, I visited some schools the first week of the school year, 4 elementary schools, a middle school, a high school, and I echo their sentiments. It's one of the best parts of this position is those experiences and seeing how happy the students and the teachers and administrators were in our district. So, pivoting from that just for a moment, we get a magazine called Time Magazine for kids, and my son and I tend to read that before he goes to bed at night together. And there's a couple articles in this edition about back to school, but a lot of the issues facing the American education system, from teacher shortages to bus bus driver shortages, bus issues, HVAC problems. And as we're reading the article, my son and I were discussing it, and while Parkway, experiences some of these issues, it really does feel like Parkway is doing an excellent job of navigating some of the pitfalls that are befalling a lot of districts all over the country. And some of that is the access to resources, but I think a lot of it is our people, our leaders, our teachers, the people that make this district work. We're in an environment where public education is facing a lot of obstacles, and I'm proud to be part of a district that is doing, I believe, an excellent job of managing this environment and thriving in it. And I'll close by just mentioning one more thing, or actually two more things. One is that same son of mine started 6th grade this year, and we sit here as board members, but also parents, so we see the district through a couple different lenses. But one of the things I really appreciated as students advance through Parkway, I think the district does an excellent job of helping these kids get to the next level, and they hit the ground running. They're in a place to succeed. There's lots of communication. There's lots of opportunities for these kids to get acquainted with their new school, even before the first day of school. And the effort that's put into easing that transition on the kids, I think, is a real asset to our district, and very much appreciated by the parents. But finally, I also, like I said, went to a couple of elementary schools, and as a parent of young kids, every single year I have this experience of walking to an elementary school and watching 30 kids walk silently and respectfully from one room to another room, just like they're supposed to. And it every single time blows my mind, no matter how many times I see it. It's just amazing that these teachers and administrators are able to get these kids to do what they're supposed to do without any issues, and it's just beautiful to see.
Well, I too have been very pleased to see all of the different activities that are taking place in our schools at the very beginning of the school year. And so a huge thank you to all of our teachers and our staff who have worked very hard to get their classrooms in order and our grounds in order, keeping the HVAC going as much as possible, addressing the problems. We know we're understaffed. We're working on that, so please spread the word if you know of anybody that is in need of employment and wants to get out of retirement or wants to come back to work in Parkway, having graduated from even South Tech in an HVAC program or something like that. We could really use the help here with transportation as well. You name it, we can use you. Teachers assistants, special school district teachers assistants, everybody across the board could use some extra help. So thank you for everybody for hanging in there and keeping our schools and everything going as much as activity as there is going on. It's just wonderful to see that we're still able to keep everything running very smoothly. So outside of that, just thank you to everybody, and we're looking forward to hopefully a very productive, successful year.
Like some of my fellow board members mentioned, the first week of school was filled with back-to-school school visits. I got to see Kevin's son completely ignore him in the hallways at Northeast Middle, so that was entertaining. But like he said, the school visits are a great time to see kids and teachers get back to the business of teaching and learning, and everybody seemed excited to be there. I attended the PTO leadership meeting just last Monday night, and it was extremely well attended. I was shocked and happily amazed by the number of men who are serving in our PTOs this year, more so I think than ever before, to my knowledge. And then, let's see, I attended, Dr. Marty attended it as well before, but the ranked musical that was put on by a combined staff or group of kids from all of our Parkway high schools worked very hard this summer to put this thing together, and it was quite a presentation. It was really good to see. Also want to give a shout out to 3 of our bus drivers, Ross Probst, Karen David, and Jeff Parrish. Those 3 individuals participated, as a lot of our bus drivers do every year, in the Missouri School Bus Safety Competition. And those 3 finished in the top 5 of the entire state. And I think that says a lot about Will Rosa and his team about how they train our bus drivers, about how our drivers really, how seriously they take their work and the safety of our kids. And I think as a board, that really gives us a lot of reassurance. I know we heard from a parent tonight with a suggestion, and we're always open to those suggestions. So, but it just impressed me that we had 3 of the top 5. So that was great to see. And since the last meeting, I've done my Safe Schools training that we ask every employee to do at the beginning of every school year. Dr. Marty's finished with
I'm
his. I won't call out anybody else that might not be quite finished, but I would encourage board members to do that as well, because it really does give us a sense of what we expect of all of our employees. I'll also mention that Project Parkway is coming up in a few weeks, September 28th, 5:30 to 7:30 at Central High. It's open to the entire public. We really value the input of our community in helping us figure out how we're moving forward and continuing to have just the best learning opportunities that we can for our kids. And lastly, I want to mention, since our last board meeting, we've had several schools that are celebrating milestones this year, but Mason Ridge, where I attended elementary school, had their 75th, and they put on a really nice presentation. There were students there, kids, people my age that I hadn't seen in a number of years, and also my music teacher, my PE teacher that I hadn't seen since elementary school, and my first grade teacher. She and I kind of had been communicating and created a date to meet in our first grade classroom, and so that was really special. And one other thing, and I'm not good at math, but I did the math, and I began as a Parkway student 50 years ago yesterday.
Wow.
The day after Labor Day in 1973. And a lot has changed. Some things are still the same, like Mason Ridge Building, which probably could stand to have an update or a rebuild or something. But the one thing I have noticed from being a parent of, I didn't really pay attention as a kid, but as a parent and then as a board member, I've really grown to appreciate the collaborative effort that we have in our classrooms, with our administrative groups, and with our community. So kudos to everyone who's had a hand in my last 50 years in Parkway.
And I believe your dad also went to Mason.
did,
Yep, I met
He was there the second year it was open.
Jeff's parents, so it's quite a tradition. Yep, very good.
I didn't know you were 50 years old.
Just a little bit. Well, I'd just like to echo, I'm speaking for my SAT colleagues, Superintendent Action Team colleagues. We were out and about the first week, and I think while we were hot, we really enjoyed, as the board said, seeing the teachers. And I just want to say Moira McCracken's here tonight representing the teachers. Teachers have worked hard, and they were really ready, and I think they were doing their very, very best in a hot week, as bus drivers and other people. But it was really fun. And we're going to try to continue. Dr. Beckner has challenged us to get into a lot of classrooms, not only in schools, but get in the classrooms in this school year. So we're going to continue to get out and about. So it was a great start, and board, thank you for your attendance. I do want to say that board members also had an experience. A lot of you attended Tuath Keene Law Seminar. Margaret Hesse's here tonight, from Tuath Keene. And I just want to say this publicly because it was a good staff development, a good learning for all of us, administrators and board members. They do a great job every year in giving us, some case studies, and things that are happening in schools, as well as legislative updates. So it was really a good day. In preparation, as Jeff said, for the later on the Project Parkway meeting, you'll notice, and it's in the lobby here, there are kiosks or venues for our citizens to weigh in on some of the work we're doing in terms of vision work. And so we encourage people to take advantage of that. It'll be up. Dr. Beckner and Dr. Holman Best are going to keep that up through the Project Parkway meeting, so this month. So we really encourage parents and any guests to schools to weigh in and give us some feedback, which we'll use in our Project Parkway planning. And then just a couple other things coming up. We did have, Jeff said, the PTO get together. There's actually going to be a PTO workshop on September 18th, which is a really great opportunity to help those leaders prepare for the year and give them help. One of the things we help them is Patty Bedborough's office, always helps them with some finances and making sure they're, going to do things properly in terms of collecting money. And then we also, we talked about Project Parkway coming up. On September 14th, we're going to honor our partners at a tailgate before a football game at South High School. That's a Thursday, September 14th. And then we have a PAMI meeting also that same evening. And then, one of the other things we should just mention is that U.S. News and World Report came out with the best high schools in America. And again, all 4 of the Parkway High Schools are on that list. We're proud of that. A lot of it certainly is based on the great work our schools do in preparing our students for the future, but also, their test results and the work that we're doing in terms of graduation rates and those types of work. So we're happy for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up is our consent agenda. It's about an average length. We've all had an opportunity to review everything included in it. So may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in the September 6, 2023 board meeting materials?
So moved.
Second.
Yep. Is there anything to be pulled to action or closed? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0. We have no individual action items tonight. We have no policy review tonight. We have no reports tonight and no work sessions tonight. So may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you all for attending and/or watching from remote.